Howdy music lovers, Tom from Blakgraz here. That is the beginning solo of my new single, I Just Wanna Be. And I'm actually really excited to be able to perform that so consistently now. It was not easy, but I've started to get the hang of it, and especially since this is actually an electric guitar, it's a little bit easier. I actually play that on Rosa, the acoustic. So welcome to another episode of Guitar and Gab. In this episode I'm going to talk about basically my new motivation to get in better shape than I ever was before. And I was in pretty good shape before, but let's talk about that when we get into the details a little bit more here in a second. So let's get started. Howdy music lovers, Tom from Blakgraz here. Welcome to another episode of Guitar and Gab. Before I get started, I want to give a shout out to Kindred Spirits in Goochland, Virginia, which is right outside of Richmond. And then let you see the back of the shirt too, because it's really cool actually. It's a really nice shirt. But even better are the folks there at Kindred Spirits. We had such an amazing time. Everybody was welcoming, everybody was clapping for every song that I played, every original. And then they asked us to come back anytime we could, and so I'm looking forward to getting back there. Also, I'm playing today's show set, which is my custom build, fancy looking guitar. She is basically like the Langdon, Trey Anastasio's Langdon. It was modeled after that, and Vaughn Shannon from Custom Build Guitars in Austin, Texas built this one, sent me on the road with it because I wouldn't give it back to him. It's so beautiful. And it plays incredibly well. So make sure you check out thintheherdguitars.com or go to JD Southside Music in Southeast San Antonio, south side of San Antonio on Southeast Military Drive. JD's Southside Music. Talk to Dave Pendergraph. They are the exclusive in-store custom build guitar distributor for in-store stuff. So also please definitely do me a favor, check out Healthy Protocol, royalvelvetnow.com. That's one of the things that actually helps me be able to do these workouts that I'm going to be talking about. And also, of course, a huge shout out to Jim Dunlop Manufacturing for sponsoring us for so many years, strings picks and so many other things. So huge thanks to all of our sponsors that keep us rolling. So in this video I wanted to discuss not my elbows anymore, because they are actually really healing very nicely, but what has occurred because of that injury. First it was panic and fear that I might not be able to continue because I couldn't lift my hands. But now that they're feeling strong again, I have a new passion for my workouts that I don't think I've experienced probably ever in my life, or maybe at least not since I was much younger. I am bound and determined to get more flexible and stronger than I have been in decades. And I'm already in pretty good shape. I'm not overweight. I have really good cardio. I can run forever. And obviously when I play my shows, I can do 3 to 5 hours and sometimes longer on a good day without stopping. So I'm not, stopping to take pee breaks. I'm not stopping to take smoke breaks or get a drink, or I've got drink on stage obviously, but I'm singing. I'm the only one singing. I'm the only one playing guitar with the backing tracks and running things, and then still talking to people between songs and keeping the show entertaining the whole time. Imagine trying to stay, how much energy it takes to try and stay entertaining for 3 to 5 hours. It's hard enough just during a song that folks know. Now if people don't know the songs, think of how much more you have to work. Well, I do that every show. And so I know that I was already in good shape, but I had been kind of slacking off because I'd been focused on either fixing the camper or writing, songs or recording or marketing Blakgraz, or trying to make sure that we get down the road, right?
Booking,
or dealing with a kitty that we rescued, or dealing with a puppy that we rescued, you know, there's all kinds of distractions as you move down the road or down life even, to let yourself kind of slide into a habit of, well, I'll work out sometime this week, or maybe I'll go for an easy run on Sunday and it's Monday.
Or I'll see how I feel on Sunday.
I'll see how I feel, you know, and then you wake up Sunday and you're like, oh, it's a long drive after that show. I don't feel like running.
I woke up once and I didn't get enough sleep.
Yeah. So one of the other things that has been helpful with that too, and I got to give credit where credit is due, is that now that we have Rascal, our security dog, he has been a big motivator for me to get out. And just because he needs to be walked, he just gets so, oh my God, I got to do something. You know, when you're in the camper driving for a long time and you get done, well, you got to take him out, not just to pee, but to kind of let out some of that tension. And so I have taken on the new habit of going for jogs with him, which seems to really help, or super long walks. One time we were on a walk, and I forget where it was. We found these really big, beautiful parks, and I did about 3 miles of walking in the heat with him. He was not happy. He was so tired. But it's so funny how I can outpace him, because he's, you know, a young dog. He's not even 2 years old yet. But it gets hot, and he does not like the heat, and so he starts to drag and walk behind me. It's just funny. At least to me it is. But now, ever since this thing, I am more determined than ever, not just to heal, right? Because part of the reason that happened with my elbows, if you're not familiar, I hyperextended my elbows and I couldn't lift my arms. So part of the reason that happened was because I had not been as disciplined as I used to be with stretching and with working out. I've most of my life have been very disciplined about making sure that I stay flexible, more even than weightlifting or even say running, but at least flexible, grounding, stretching, yoga type moves that require strength to hold and stretch. So it's been a big part of my life, and I had let that go for a bunch of different reasons. Stress probably one of them, but it's just an excuse, right? So when you're on the road, you really have to, and I've said this before, you have to focus on maintaining your health because it's so exhausting. I've talked about fatigue. I've talked about the things that pop up with, you know, distractions from the camper breaking down, or gear breaking down, or things not working right, or you don't get enough sleep and so your voice is not doing what you think it should do or what it normally does, or you're playing and for whatever reason the fingers don't move the way they're used to moving, just because you're tired, or it may be hot out, or it's sticky and things are, you're going for slides and bends and you can't seem to get them to work the way you want. All kinds of reasons. And one of the main ways that I've found to overcome those kinds of obstacles is mental focus, right? Your mental focus is what allows you to continue on with a show no matter how tired you feel, no matter how distracted with life you feel. If you get in the moment and you get the adrenaline rush and people are into what you're doing, nothing else in the world matters. There's nothing else in the world that matters except that moment right there in that show and when you're playing that song. So that's one of the reasons I enjoy doing this, is you really get to, when your show is really flowing along, you get to forget everything else. To be able to do that consistently every time, though, requires a physical discipline as well as a mental discipline. The mental discipline turns into a physical discipline where you keep your hands loose, you keep your legs and your feet loose, because your feet, I stand at every show, and so standing for 3 hours. Ask any grocery register clerk what it's like to stand for 8 hours on their feet, right? Same thing. Just not as long as 8 hours, although they do take breaks. It's still 8 hours on your feet. That kind of physical stress can make it so that you feel so tired the next day. It's sort of like running a marathon, you know, because when you're singing and playing, as if I was just playing guitar, and I did this in several bands where I was just the guitar player, it's a lot easier physically. I didn't sweat as much, and so I could jump around and I could reach and take sips while songs were starting and get ready for the next song and then go into stuff, and I could focus on just playing the guitar. But as soon as you start singing and playing guitar, something happens physiologically, biologically, that your body suddenly is working twice as hard, maybe 3 times as hard. And I think a big part of it is because of breath. When you sing, you're pushing all that air out really slowly, but those muscles are still going really hard with playing, right? They're still trying to do they need that oxygen to come in and the lactic acid and carbon dioxide to come out. They're still going like this and doing all this fancy stuff, right? While you're going for however long you got to hold that phrase. That'll make you sweat in a big fat hurry.
Well, then add if it's difference versus backing vocals or lead vocals, because lead you have to push harder because you need to be heard, and you're also pushing out energy to entertain and keep people's attention too.
Exactly. Yes, and even there's a big difference between backing vocals and lead vocals. Lead vocals, everybody's looking at you and they're waiting for you to wow them, right? So you automatically feel more pressure. That pressure inevitably turns into you singing harder or pushing harder because you want them to feel the energy that you feel, right? Backing singing is far easier because you're playing and you stand at the mic and you make sure you're blending and you just don't, not everybody's not looking at you. It's very rare that people are looking at the backing singer who happens to be playing guitar until the guitar starts playing a solo, right? So there's 2 different worlds. It's a very, very good example of difference, but it's still singing and playing, so you sweat more, so you burn more calories, right?
And dehydrate too.
And dehydrate, yes, much faster. Which is why drinking on stage, not only do I not do it, but I would not encourage it because it dehydrates you more, which then of course dries out your voice as you're performing.
Well, clarify, drinking alcohol.
Drinking alcohol, yes.
Not water or tea or something and then salt and all of that.
Yeah. So staying hydrated on stage, yes, huge thing. But that doesn't happen. You can't push yourself physically on stage, but you're literally stimming. I mean, you're just like this for however long a song is going, then you next song, okay. And then you're stimming again. Come on. Your whole body is stimming if you're doing it right. If you see guys on stage, they're kind of like, they're not putting their heart into it, right?
Passive.
It's just they're there and they're waiting to get paid and have a beer and have fun. It's not their passion. You can tell by the energy, by their aura, right? Their energy that comes off of them. I'm talking about the people who really get into it, right? That's one of the things Dave always said. He said it today when we spoke to Dave from JD Southside. We were on the phone with him today and he said, as soon as people see your energy, I saw it. They're gonna know. They're gonna know just by seeing your energy. I mean, if nothing else, if I don't get remembered as a good guitar player or as a good singer, if nothing else, I get remembered as a really energetic performer, that'd be fine with me. I'm happy with that. That would be a really good takeaway as a legacy for me.
Well, and to be that energetic circles back to with the focus of the health.
Exactly. See, she's reading my mind again. So the idea there is the preparation for those performances. You cannot step on stage and pull off a performance like that unless you prepare physically. People talk about that makes a good performer will make it look easy on stage. Look like you're just not even thinking about it. It's just so easy. You move around and you play the notes and everything happens perfectly, and you sing and it's so easy. And you hit those high notes and it's so easy.
Freddie Mercury, that's what comes to mind for me, or Elvis.
Oh yeah, both Freddie Mercury and who also loved Elvis. But they don't, and often I've talked about how when you play guitar on stage, people price them. A venue will decide how much they're going to pay you according to their sales, according to how many people they bring through the door. But they never ever could possibly price your value as a musician, especially if someone's good, for how many years of nonstop and continuous education, practice that it takes to be able to pull that off. And karaoke is a really good example. I mean, people go to karaoke because it's funny to point fingers at each other and laugh at how bad some people are. Some people do a decent job, but most of the time it's fun because it's just funny. Mm-hmm. Somebody thinks they're good, or somebody isn't good and they know they're not good, but they're just having fun with it. That's what makes it fun, right?
They want their 5 seconds of attention.
It's just fun to laugh at each other, right? Karaoke, that's a great comedy routine, right? So, but that's a good example of how hard it is to actually perform well as a singer, guitar player, bass player, drummer, anything as a band, and how venues and many people who go out and pay tickets, they won't even pay $5 to see a band who's been practicing for years to get their craft down, right? To get it down so that the show would be enjoyable, and they won't pay $5 for all of that time and energy and effort. You know, but that's a whole nother video. The point here is physical health is also a part of that. Now, I've seen a lot of players who are bigger fellas, you know, they're either overweight or they can't move, they've got other disabilities or whatever, who try to get on stage, and sometimes they're really good. They have great voices or they play their instrument really well, but it's not entertaining. It's because they barely move. Or when they do even a little bit, they're drenched in sweat just from the little bit that they're doing. This is our security dog. This is Rascal. Rascal, say hi to everybody. Yeah. Not right now. We're filming. You gotta wait. No,
even if we took him out at 90 degrees, he'd instantly want to come back in.
Yeah, you gotta wait. Sorry. Yeah, you gotta wait. Okay. No, sit. Sit down.
He's stretching, you have to wait.
Sit. Good boy. Stay. So basically, I have, because of this injury, decided to refocus myself, because as soon as I stopped working out, because I was waiting for my arms to heal, I could feel the deterioration start. And then when I finally did start working out a little bit more, I noticed immediately how much I had atrophied in terms of strength, in terms of flexibility, in terms of what I could do. Now, thankfully, this guy right here is my running buddy, and so he keeps me kind of on the running side. My legs are still, my lungs are still good. But I was noticing specifically that the flexibility that I used to enjoy and the physical strength, upper body physical strength especially, had deteriorated considerably. In fact, today is the first time I did more than 20 push-ups that were actual full straight plank push-ups. I had been doing them off of angles to make sure that I gave my elbows more time. So that's what I really wanted to talk about, was that conscious decision, because of the negative that occurred, to reinvigorate myself physically so that my shows can remain not just entertaining but physically challenging. I want people to see the show and see the energy that I'm putting into each song and to the whole performance. You know, we got that letter about, you know, you say that you do this, you claim to play through 3 to 5 hours straight. You know, I have witnesses, right? But I want every single time that I play to be an experience like that, where people just, they walk away going, my God, he puts out so much energy, so passionate about what he does, that it's just impressive. I hope that they enjoy my guitar playing. I hope that they enjoy my singing. I hope that they enjoy the show too. But if nothing else, at least walk away really feeling like I did everything I could physically to try and entertain them as much as possible. And the only way to do that is to kick myself in the butt and make sure that I stay on top of my health.
Well, I would say too, I'd want to point out the reason why you're doing upwards of 3 to 5 hours is because of the setting. It's not ticketed shows. These are at restaurants, bars, breweries, special events where people are cycling through. So people will come, and many of them stay longer than they anticipated and stuff, but that's why you keep playing through, is because there's always people cycling through, so it's the matter of grabbing everybody's attention and holding them as long as possible. If they don't see a band or hear a band playing, people are less likely to want to hang out. Oh, I guess the band is done. Oh, I guess this, you know.
Yes, that's true. The setting is, and actually what I'm running into now is a small kind of champagne challenge. There are these bigger festivals and bigger events that are booking us now for this year and for 2027, who say that the slot is, well, you know, we got a 45-minute slot. I'm getting paid more than I've ever gotten paid, and they are only giving me
2 hours.
45 minutes. The one that's paying the most so far next year, it's going to be booked here in the middle of September, but we got the unofficial confirmation for it this last weekend, is going to be for only 2 hours. I'm only going to get a 2-hour slot. I'm used to 3 hours minimum, and then I usually go over, start early and then go over. So that is, while it is a champagne challenge because they want to pay me more money than I've ever made in my life playing music ever to play their event for 2 hours, that's not long enough for me. I have too many songs and I want to play more. You're gonna have to wait, buddy. I'm almost done. So that is a champagne challenge, and therein lies another reason for this renewed inspiration to increase my workouts and to be more disciplined about them. Because if I'm not on stage as long as I'm used to for as many shows, I mean, those shows, lifting the gear and then playing the shows and then lifting the gear and then driving, that's part of my workout. That is part of what I consider my exercise for the week, right? So if that starts to become a smaller and smaller amount of time, I really have to stay on top of myself, because I don't want to lose that ability to play those longer shows when I want to. It's not because I have to. I mean, most venues don't care if you take a break, but it's because I want to. I want to fit in as many songs as physically possible before I'm supposed to stop. Now, sometimes places don't care and they'll let me go longer, but a lot of places have hard stops because of neighbors, because of licensing constraints, because of whatever. And so I'll have to stop. And often what I'll do there is start a little bit early just to get in more songs. Like this event, if I can get set up for this 2-hour show next year, I'm going to start at least a half hour early, and I'm going to get in 2.5 hours at least. And if they let me go over even by a little bit, I'm going to do it. So there you go. That's basically the end result of a negative experience in terms of physical health, and how it has sparked and inspired a positive result, which is me being more disciplined than ever. And this week already I've done 3 workout days with him. I took him out in the heat and he couldn't stand it, and I made him run with me. It was hilarious to watch. He fell behind like a little, what was it, just like a, come on, Pokey. You know, he's dragging back there with his tongue hanging out. It's hot. Yes, you. That was you. So, all right, thanks everybody for tuning in. I didn't say this before, so I'll say it right now. In case you didn't know, or you're new to the channel, Blakgraz is my original music. I'm Tom from San Antonio, Texas, and we do these behind-the-scene videos so that people can kind of come along for the journey as we grow this project. Blakgraz is all original music, written by me. We have 119 songs in 13 different styles, all published up on Spotify, Apple, Tidal, Napster, Deezer, all the streaming services. We're on every social media platform. Please do us a huge favor, like and subscribe and follow, comment. Even better, come to a show. I would love to meet you, shake your hand, look you in the eye, and say thank you in person, because AI can't do that. All right, y'all. We'll see you next time. You ready, buddy?